Namaste, greetings to everyone. Hope you are all doing well. Let us start our class with a Shanti Mantra. This is from the Devi Mahatmyam, also called Durga Saptashati and also commonly known as Chandi, describing the glories of the Divine Mother Durga and praying to her for the well-being of all beings. This on page 140 of this book, The Universal Prayers. English translation is on page 141. This is the middle one. There are three hymns, the three stanzas on page 140. The second one, middle of the page. Om Devi Prapannarti Hare Prasida Prasida Matar Jagato Khilasya Prasida Vishweshwari Pahi Vishwam Tvamishwari Devi Characharasya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Divine Mother, you are the destroyer of the troubles of all the supplicants, those who pray to you. You are the Mother of the universe. Let thy mercy be upon us all. O Mother, you are the mistress of this universe. You are the one ruler of the moving and the unmoving. Please protect the universe and shower your mercy upon all beings. Om peace. May there be peace and joy in our hearts. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. And may there be peace everywhere in nature. We were studying chapter 4. At the end of chapter 4. Last time we were studying verse number 39 in chapter 4. There Bhagavan Sri Krishna describes the glory of self-knowledge gained through austerities or karma yoga, performing all actions as yajna, offering, without attachment to karma, our actions, and without attachment to the fruits of our actions, dedicating everything, all our actions and the fruits of all our actions to God, to the universe, to any larger cause, thereby giving up attachment to action and its results, karma and karma phala. So the verse number 39 once again. Saddhavan labhate jnanam tatparas samyatendriyah jnanam labdva param shantim achirena adhigacchati. Saddhavan tatparaha samyatendriyah. Three qualities of a seeker. Shraddha means a reasoned, informed conviction that the words of the Upanishads, Shruti, scriptures, and the words and the teachings of an illumined teacher are true. They depict the truth. And the conviction that if we follow those teachings given in the Upanishads and by the illumined teacher, we will reach the goal of self-knowledge or liberation. That kind of conviction, not a plain belief because somebody said so, not like that, but one should understand the significance of the teachings, and should be convinced after thorough analysis and inquiry that they depict the truth. That is Shraddha. Shraddhavan Tatparaha. Tatpara means one must be fully committed to that self-knowledge. In the Gita, you come across the word Matparaha several times. Bhagavan says, describing a devotee must be Matpara. Matpara means one who is committed to me, to God. One whose life is a commitment, total life is a commitment to God realization. Such a person who is committed to a cause, a higher lofty cause. Tatpara means here self-knowledge. And explaining the word Tatpara, Shankara says, Tatpara Gurupasadana Sadau. That means approaching a teacher and if possible, staying with a teacher, absorbing his teachings, the teacher's teachings, and putting into practice with total faith and commitment the teachings of the illumined teacher. Tatparaha. Third quality of a seeker is Samyatendriyaha. Indriya means sense organs. All sense organs. Mind is also included as a sense organ. Samyata means one who has controlled all the sense organs. As you have seen several times before, the sense organs and the mind have a natural tendency to go in different directions and not focus on one thing at a time. The sense organs and mind are always seeking contact with sense objects, hoping that such contact will bring pleasure. That tendency has to be checked by a seeker. Such a person who is sincerely striving hard to control the mind and sense organs and make all of them focus on the self. Such a person is a Samyatendriyaha. So, three qualities: Shraddha, Tatparata, and Samyatendriya, Indriya Nigraha. Such a person, what happens? Jnanam labdhva. Jnana means self-knowledge. Gaining self-knowledge. Param shanti madhigacchati. Achieve supreme and eternal peace. Param shantim is translated as moksha by Shankara in his commentary. Achieves liberation. Liberation from the cycle of birth and death, and from all the limitations, from all sufferings for all time to come. And that happens quickly. Achirena. Kshipram. Achirena means quickly. Once self-knowledge comes, immediately liberation comes. So that is the importance of gaining self-knowledge. And in this chapter that has been explained as the result of doing karma yoga without attachment. Karma sannyasa. Relinquishing karma or kartrutva. We will come back to this topic of relinquishing kartrutva. Kartrutva means doership, agency for action. We will explain how to do, we will understand how to do that one. So that is the verse number 39. Now we go to verse number 40. Here Sri Krishna explains what happens if a person does not do these things. If the person does not have that kind of commitment, if a person does not have that kind of conviction, is always bothered by doubts, and does not strive hard and control sense organ, what happens to such a person is explained in verse number 40. Ajñascha sraddhadanascha samshayatma vinashyati nayam lokosti na paro na sukham samshayatmanaha. The ignorant person, the unfaithful person, this is translation. The doubting person perishes, vinashyati. Neither this world nor the next world happens to happiness comes to such a person. In either this world or in the next world, no happiness for such a person. Such a person who does not have a full conviction and does not have total commitment to this cause, to this effort, and is always has doubts about all these things, such a person cannot find any happiness in this world, cannot succeed in this world, neither such a person can succeed in the world hereafter. So let us see. Ajna, first word in this first line is Ajna. Ajñascha ashraddhadanascha. Shraddha we have seen before. Shraddha means informed conviction that the words of the Upanishads and the element teacher are true, and if we follow them, we will reach the goal. That conviction is called Shraddha. Ashraddhadana means a person who does not have that conviction, dismisses everything. Oh, what the Upanishad, somebody said something thousands of years ago, and we don't know whether it is true or not today. Things have changed so much, how can it be true? Or it may be true for some people. That kind of doubt, samshaya, samshayatma, a person who has this kind of doubts, dismissing the words of the element teacher, not having faith. Such a person, ashraddhadanaha samshayatma cha ajna. Ajna means anatmagya, not having self-knowledge or commitment to self-knowledge, not having self-knowledge. Such a person, what happens? Vinashyati, perishes, does not succeed, finds only misery. That person seeking worldly happiness may find pleasure for some time, but that is fleeting, as we have seen. Worldly pleasures are highly conditional and fleeting. For some time they give some happiness, but that is all. Eventually, when they stop giving happiness, when our ability to enjoy the pleasures of the world cease, then what happens? Only disillusionment and unhappiness. Dukkha. Dukkha yonaya evate. Sri Krishna says in the next chapter. For such a person, ayam lokaha nasti. Second line, ayam na ayam. Combined, na ayam. Ayam means this. Ayam loka means this world. Na asti. There is no happiness in this world. Such a person who has always doubting everything, does not put forth a concerted, sustained effort to gain something, does not have any deep conviction, such a person cannot find happiness in this world also, cannot succeed in anything in this world also. Ayam loka nasti. Na paraha. There is no next world also. For such a person, na sukham samshayatmanaha. There is no happiness either here or hereafter for a person who does not have full conviction, does not strive hard enough, and does not have faith. That is the verse number 40. Now the concluding two verses, kind of summary of what has been said in this chapter, verse number 41 and 42. Let us do verse number 41. Yoga sanyasta karmanam jnanasam chinna samshayam atmavantam na karmani nibadnanti dhananjaya. Karmani nanibadnanti. Karmas do not bind. How does karma bind? Karma, when it is done with attachment to fruits of action, thinking I am the doer, I must get the benefit of this work. With that attitude, if karma is done, then what happens? The result will come. The person has to go through the experience the result of the work, good and bad, and then that is not the end of the transaction. Such a person will continue to do karma, expecting more results. So it's a continuing saga, karma phala. Where is the end? It continues life after life. So unless one puts an end to this cycle, one will be stuck in the cycle of karma phala. Karma happens because motivated by desire for the fruit of action, not to serve other people, but with the desire to enjoy the fruit of action. Ordinary people do karma. The desire comes because of ignorance of one's true nature. Our true nature is infinite, eternal, pure consciousness, Satchidananda. That since we don't have that knowledge or experience of that true nature, we perceive sense objects as sources of pleasure. We reach out to them, we do karma to get pleasure, happiness, and then we do karma to find happiness, expecting result from karma, and that is how the cycle starts. A person who becomes free from from attachment to fruits of action by practicing karma yoga, such a person is not bound by the karma. That is the first part of verse number 41. Yoga sanyasta karmanam. A person who has become free from the bondage of karma by practicing yoga. Yoga sanyasta karmana means paramartha darshana lakshanena yogena sanyastani karmani yena. A person who, with the aim of gaining self-knowledge, paramartha darshana, performs all actions as yajna, as we saw in the earlier part of this chapter. In the earlier part of chapter 4, we saw how every action is a yajna. Even eating, walking, seeing things, hearing things, doing everything is an act of yajna if done as yajna. That liberates, does not bind. If done as yajna, karma is liberating, leads to freedom. If karma is done not as yajna, then we are bound. So that we saw in the earlier chapter also. Chapter 3, sloka number 9, Sri Krishna had already said that if a person performs actions not as yajna. Such a person will be bound by the actions and its results, and their results. Chapter 3, Shloka number 9, Bhagavan Sri Krishna said, Yajnarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. Yajnarthat anyatra, not as yajna. If a person performs actions not as yajna, but with a selfish motive. Yajna means not for me, giving offering. Offering all actions to God. That has come many times, will come again. If a person does not offer karma phala to God or to a higher cause, then person is bound by the karma phala. Attachment will continue. So, chapter 3, Shloka number 9, Sri Krishna says, Yajnartha danyatra karmaha Yajnartha danyatra karma bandhanaha lokoyam karma bandhanaha. This loka means people. They become bound by karma. They perform a karma not as yajna. That was third chapter. In the fourth chapter, Sri Krishna in much detail explains how every action can be done as karma. So if a person performs every action as karma, yoga sanyasta karmanam, a person who has become free from the bondage of karma phala by practicing yoga. Yoga here means, we can say karma yoga. Bhakti yoga also leads to same goal. Jnana yoga also leads to the same goal. Here it is more karma yoga, doing everything as yajna. Yoga sanyasta karmanam, for a person who has become free from the bondage of karma by doing everything as yoga. Second, jnana samchinna samshayam. Samshaya means doubt. Sanchina samshaya means a person who has become free from doubts. How can a person become free from doubts? By knowledge. Knowledge removes doubt. Doubt is because of ignorance, and the solution to doubt is knowledge. So, jnana sanchina samshaya is a person who has become free from doubts through jnana. Jnana means knowledge of the self. So in the commentary, Shankara says, Atmeshwara ekatvam. Atma means oneself, individual self. Ishvara means God. Ekatva means unity. I and God are separate is duality. That is good for practicing devotion. A devotee will not say, I am God. Jnani will say, I am Brahman. I here means not the body and the mind, the real I. Generally, we think of I as the body and the mind. That's where problem comes. When you are not aware of anything other than the body and the mind. That's all I know. My body, my mind. What is there behind it? Beyond it, we don't have any clear idea. But a jnani has. So, jnana sanchina samshaya in a person who, by virtue of self-knowledge, Atma Ishvara Ekatvam, knowing that individual self is same as the universal self. Jivatma is same as Paramatma. That's what Vedanta says. Only a person who has that knowledge, and by virtue of that knowledge who has become free from all doubts, such a person, jnana sanchinna samshaya, such a person, Atmavantam, third thing. Atmavanta means one who is committed to self-knowledge. Apramattam, Shankara says, apramattam means one who does not forget. Pramada means forgetfulness. Not forgetting one's true nature, always aware of one's true nature. Such a person, ever vigilant. Apramatta means ever vigilant. Such a person What happens to such a person? Karmani nanibadhanti. Actions do not bind. There is no karma phala, there is no samskara added to our subconscious when such a person does all action as yajna. If action is done as not as yajna, with a selfish motive, we have two kinds of result will come, as you have seen before. When any action is done in the ordinary selfish way, two things will happen. One kind of result is drishta phalam, visible result. That we know. When you do something, result will come. We see the result, we experience the result. That is drishta phala. There is another adrishta phalam, unseen result. That is, an impression is added to our subconscious mind. Every time I think about something, say something or do something, that action leaves an impression. That those impressions keep on accumulating, life after life. And the sum total of all those impressions is what we are today. What we are today at this moment, whatever person, such a I am, happy or unhappy, healthy or sick or good or bad, whatever I am at this moment, you are seeing this person, is nothing but the sum total of all the impressions I have myself gathered over a long period spanning many lifetimes. Impression by impression, I built myself to be what I am today. This edifies. So that adrishta phala will cease. No more impressions are added. Such a person, karmani nanibadhanti. Karma will not bind. No action, no result will touch such a person. Becomes free. That is the glory of self-knowledge. The last sloka in this chapter 4, verse number 42. Tasmadajnana sambhotam hritstham jnanasinatmana chitvainam samshayam yogam atishthotishta bharata. Tasmad ajnana sambhotam hritstham jnanasina atmanaha chitva enam samshayam yogam atishta uttishta bharata atishthotishta bharata. Concluding instruction, last instruction at the end of this chapter. Therefore, O Arjuna, with the sword of knowledge, slay the doubt in the heart, burn of ignorance, resort to yoga and stand up. Uttishta, the word Uttishta comes several times in the Gita. In the second chapter, verse number 2 and 3, Uttishta came, where Sri Krishna exhorts Arjuna to give up weakness and stand up and show your true self. There, third verse, second chapter, Sri Krishna says, Klebhyam asma gamah partha naitat tvayipa padyate Kshudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktva tishtha parantapa. Uttishta came there. Uttishta means stand up. Sri Krishna is constantly urging us to stand up, not simply remain inactive. Oh, everything will happen by the will of God at the right time. So whatever happens, happens. Like that is not the proper attitude. Let me be proactive. Let me do the action that will lead me to liberation. Let me do something constructive. Let me do something positive. Let me do something that can help the other beings, suffering people, animals and plants. What is the use of living this human life? The most precious gift that anyone can get is a human birth. And we have been given that most precious gift. Having received that most precious gift of human birth, what are we doing with it? Do you want to squander it away? It is limited in time. Our time will come. One day this birth will end. Before that, we have to do something meaningful, something useful to other beings, not just being selfish and eating and satisfying one's desires and leading one's own selfish life. That is not the purpose of human life. That is a waste of human life. We have to do something meaningful, something which has lasting significance, something that is of some use to other beings. That is the purpose of human life. Uttishta means stand up and do that. Don't be passive and let time pass. Time will pass whether we do something or not. That is not the way to lead a human life. So, Uttishta means stand up, be proactive, do something meaningful, do something useful. That urge, Sri Krishna urges all of us through Arjuna, this instruction to every one of us, not only to Arjuna, to stand up and do something meaningful in this life. So here it says, Tasmat, therefore, Ajnana Sambhutam Hristham. The word, the noun is Samshayam. Samshayam Chitva. Second line, Chitva Enam Samshayam. Enam means this Samshayam, this doubt that has come in our hearts. Hristham means in the heart. Doubt has arisen in the ordinary people's person's mind. Atma Samstham, Ajnana Sambhutam, born of ignorance. Ajnana means lack of proper knowledge. Here in this context, Ajnana means aviveka. Ajnana also means the ignorance of our true nature. Here Ajnana means aviveka, not knowing what is right, what is wrong, not being able to distinguish what is permanent, eternal, and what is temporary or ephemeral. That ignorance. Because of that ignorance, samshaya has come in our heart. Oh, is it true? How can it be true? Ajnana sambhutam hristham, in the heart, samshayam, enam samshayam, chitva, cutting it asunder, cutting the doubt that has come in our heart because of ignorance. How to get rid of ignorance? By the sword of knowledge, jnana. Jnana means self-knowledge, proper knowledge. Samyak darshana, proper knowledge. Asi means sword. Atmana, one's own samshayam, by one's own effort. Jnanasina, enam samshayam chitva, killing this, getting rid of this samshaya by the sword of knowledge. Asi means sword. What has to be done next? Yoga matishta. Yoga here means, in this context, karma yoga, doing all actions as yajna. That is what has been mentioned earlier in this chapter. Yoga also can mean jnana yoga, bhakti yoga also it can mean. But it seems that in this present context, it is karma sannyasa, karma yoga. Doing all actions as yajna, that is yoga. Practicing that yoga, yogam atishta. Practicing that yoga, uttishta, get up, Bharata, Arjuna. Karma yoga, doing all work as yajna, leads to giving up attachment to karma, giving up agency, kartritva. Notion that I am the doer will go away. Work is happening. I happen to be the instrument. This body mind happen to be the instrument. I, the Atman, remains free from action. I am not the doer. I am not the agent. That knowledge has to come. That is true knowledge. That we will study in more detail in the next chapter, 5th chapter. Who is the doer? That question will come. Sannyasa means giving up, not physically. Actions cannot be given up. Physically impossible to give up actions. Even if you don't go to work and make money and have a family, give up all those things, retire to the forest and live there, not doing any work but just meditating, then also you are doing work. Meditation, japa is also work. One has to maintain the body. That some work has to be done. You have to gather fruits and whatever is available and eat it and sleep and take bath. These are all work. Work cannot be given up physically. That we have seen earlier in the 3rd chapter. It will come in later also. Physically it is not possible to give up work. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrat. In the 3rd chapter, I think it's sloka number 5 it came. Kshanamapi, even for a moment, kaschit, any person cannot give up action. Jatu tishtati akarmakrat. Without performing any action, nobody can remain even for a short moment. You have to get up and eat and take bath and do other things for maintaining the body. Sharira yatra. Sharira yatra pichate naprasidye dakarmana. That came before. So karma cannot be given up completely. Certain karma can be given up. But that's not the meaning of giving up karma. Karma giving up means giving up attachment to karma, karma phala. Giving up kartritva, I am the doer notion has to be given up. I am the doer is the ignorance. Anybody thinks that I am doing the action, such a person is an ignorant person. That we very clearly saw in the 3rd chapter, sloka number 27. If anybody thinks I am doing this action, people are fond of saying, I have done that, I have built this whole department and I am managing this one, I am the head, I am the CEO, I am doing this, I have accomplished all of this. If somebody keeps on saying, I have done, I am doing, such a person is called what? By Sri Krishna, a foolish person. Sri Krishna uses a strong word to describe such a person who always says, I am the doer. Where does it come? In 3rd chapter, we studied that sloka number 27. There Sri Krishna uses a straightforward language to describe a person who always says, I am the doer. So to say I am the doer is the sign of ignorance. Body mind is the doer, I means the Atman is not the doer. That knowledge if you don't have, you claim I am the doer, think I am the body and the mind. There, in the 3rd chapter, sloka 27, Sri Krishna says, Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha ahankara vimodhatma kartahamiti manyate. Prakrite gunai sarvasha karmani kriyamanani. By the components of Prakriti, which are sense organ, sense object, they are all part of Prakriti. The body is part of nature. It is made up of food. It is part of nature. It came from nature, it goes back to nature. So the parts of the body, mind, sense organs, sense object, they are all involved in the action. These components of Prakriti among themselves interacting, the action happens. Prakritehe gunaihi sarvani sarvasha karmani karyamanani. But the second line of 327, Sri Krishna says, Ahankara vimodhatma kartaham iti manyate. Aham karta iti manyate. A person who says, I am karta, I am the doer, what is such a person? Ahankara vimodhatma. Egotistic and foolish person. So, I am the doer should not be thought about. That's not the right way to think about. Who is the doer? You will study that in the next chapter. Here, all actions are happening in the body and the mind. These are the instrument. I am the instrument. The devotee says, I am the instrument. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna used to say. He used to sing that song, "O Divine Mother, you do all your actions." People think they are the doers. Sakali tomari ichha, ichha mohi tara tumi, tomar karma tumi karo ma, loke bole kore ami. Sakali tomari ichha. O Divine Mother, everything happens by your will. You do your work. Tamar karma tumi karo ma. People think I am the doer. Loke bole ami kori. That is not the not that is ignorance. So a person gives up that notion I am the doer, giving up kartritva. Kartritva means agency. I am the doer. That is kartritva. That has to be given up. Devotee gives it up by saying I am the only instrument. God is the doer. Jnani says I am not the doer. Body, mind, sense organ are doing the action. I am not the body, mind, sense organs. I am the Atman. I am not the doer. So different people practice giving up kartritva in different ways. There are other ways also. We'll study all those in detail in the next chapter. So giving up kartritva, that is the method to become free from the bondage of action. Before that, kamya karma has to be given up. Kamya karma means action done with the sole purpose of getting one's own benefit for one's own self. Selfish act. Kamya means action motivated by desire, kama. Selfish action. That we should not do. Any action we do should have some impact on others also. Positive impact, not negative impact. Not just for me alone. If I cook food just for myself, then that is selfish. That we saw in the 3rd chapter. A person who cooks for one's own self is eating one's own his sin, he said. So when you cook food, we should share that with somebody else. Nobody else available, at least some animal, something has to be, other being, we have to share something. Without sharing the fruit of our action, if you enjoy all the fruit of our action for oneself, then we are being very selfish. That is ignorance. So we should not be like that one. Performing all actions as yajna, we have to get rid of ignorance. We have to practice total selflessness. Unselfishness is God, Swami Vivekananda said. So to summarize the last few slokas in a few words, it is like this. We all have to action. Nobody can become free from action. Some action is necessarily going to happen, whether you like it or not. Even for maintaining the body, action is necessary. So action has to be done, imperative. So if that action has to be done in a selfless way. If you do action in a selfish way, result will come. Then the karma phala cycle will continue. The best way to perform action is to do it as offering, without attachment. That instruction has been given in many places, how to perform action. One place which we all have to remember, very important sloka in the Karma Yoga context in the Gita, is 2nd chapter of sloka number 48. That we studied in much detail. There Sri Krishna says how to perform actions and become free from the fruit of actions, free from attachment. One sloka is enough. 2nd chapter sloka number 48. 2 instructions are given there. If you follow only those 2 instructions, that is sufficient. You become free from the bondage of karma. So by performing all karma, by following the instructions given in 248, a person becomes free from karma phala, free from attachment. How to perform actions? Let us do The sloka 248 once again, very important key sloka. Second chapter 48. There Sri Krishna says, Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Essence of karma yoga. Yogastha karmani kuru. As a yogi, karma yogi, perform actions. What does it mean, karma yogi, yogastha? Two things. Sangam tyaktva. First thing, giving up attachment to karma, karma phala. Attachment to karma has to be given up by either saying I am not the doer, I am the self, Jnani's method, or as a devotee is saying I am only instrument, God is the doer, or offering all actions to God. That was we studied in the also third chapter, sloka number 30. This is where Sri Krishna says, whenever you do any action, offer it to me. Then you become free. If you give something to somebody, I am free from that one. I am no longer attached to that one. When I give something to somebody, that something is no longer mine. I have no connection with it. I have given up attachment to that something which I gave away. Karma is like that. If you do any karma and offer it to God, which is what Sri Krishna says in 3:30, Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya. Very important instruction. Comes again later. When you dedicate, give up all actions to God as my offering, then what happens? I am no longer attached to that karma. Sangam tyaktva means giving up attachment to karma by offering it to God. Devotee's method. Easy, mentally only. Physically we cannot offer anything to God. And He does not need our karma. If we are giving it not to fulfill His need, what does He need? We are giving to Him, offering it to Him because we want to become free from that one. That is the meaning of giving. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasya, offering all actions to me. How? Chetasa, 1857. We will come to that later. How to give up all actions to God? Mentally only. Chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya, 1857. Don't worry about that now. Mentally dedicating, offering all actions to God. When action is offered, action karma phala also will not accrue to me. If I have given up action, then I don't have any connection with karma phala. Fruit of action also is given up. That is the way to become free from karma and karma phala. If you do that one, what happens? Ashuddhikshaya. The selfishness will go away. Selfishness is the main impurity. This body mind is the main impurity. That will go away. By offering all actions to karma, ignorance will go away. Then what happens? When ignorance goes away, knowledge dawns. I am that self will come. Atmajnana will come. When knowledge comes, then all notion of I am the door will go away. Kartritva will go away. Then Shanti will come. So the sequence of events is like this. How to perform actions? 248. Sangam tyaktva siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. Siddhi means success, asiddhi means failure. Samo bhutva, remaining equanimous in success and failure. When you are given up karma phala, then you are not concerned about success, failure. You have done your best. You have to do our best. Hoping that we succeed. We should not cut down our effort. We have to do the best, and then result, whatever comes, result is not depending upon what I do. Other factors will come. Those other factors which influence the result of our work are described in 1814. 5 factors are there. One of which is our karma, effort we do. 4 other factors also influence the result of our karma. Those 4 factors we don't know. Even if we cannot fully control. Like weather, what other people do, effect of past karma, environment, all these other factors. We'll study them later. Therefore, we have no control over the karma phala. So we have to detach ourselves, giving up all actions and the result of attachment to result of all actions. If we give, that is the proper way to do work, as explained in 248. Then what happens? Doubt will go away, self-knowledge will come, Shanti. Shanti means permanent, eternal, infinite, unconditional peace will come. That is liberation. That is the sequence of events in this chapter. Performing all actions as yajna will give up attachment to karma phala, knowledge will dawn, doubt will go away, and eternal peace will come. That is the way to achieve eternal peace, explained in this chapter 4. So let us conclude here this 4th chapter, Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Now we go to the, it's almost time, chapter 5. Chapter 5 is in a way a continuation of this same topic. Sannyasa Yoga. In this chapter also the practice of detachment will come, and the another important topic of Samadarshitva will come. In the chapter 5 verse 18, a very important shloka, there Sri Krishna asks us to practice same-sightedness, Samadarshitva. Samadarshine Namatiharo, in that famous song which was popularist Narsi Mehta's song in Gujarati, made popular by Swami, also by Gandhiji. Oh Lord, you are Samadarshi, your name is Samadarshi. Samadarshitva means seeing the same self in all and treating everybody alike. Alike means with respect and compassion. Even wicked people, but from a distance. We should not get too close to wicked people because they are only ignorant of their true nature. Wicked person does wicked things because he does not know the notion about, and he does not have any notion about God. Thinks the body and the mind is very selfish, seeking pleasure and fulfillment. Such a person, it does not hesitate to do wicked deeds, evil deeds, immoral, illegal actions. We should not get close to that, but that person also is God himself in that form, but he does not know and he does not behave that way. So you have to stay away from that one. That is why in the Gospel, Sri Ramakrishna said, when you see a wild elephant, get out of its way. Don't stand there in front of the wild elephant and say, oh God, Narayana, you have come in the form of wild elephant. I bow down to you. If you say that prayer and stand in front of the wild elephant, that wild elephant does not know anything about Narayana or anything. It will throw you away, and this is a wild elephant. So you should stay away from a distance, show them respect, be compassionate, but not to get too close to wicked people. Samadarshitva will come. We will do the first verse in this Sannyasa Yoga, in topic of renunciation, in chapter 5. First verse is Arjuna's question. This chapter also begins with question about Arjuna, about the which is superior, karma or karma sannyasa. Karma means performing all actions. Everybody has to perform at least some action for body maintenance. It cannot be given up. Karma sannyasa means giving up all actions. Karma yoga means performing all actions. These two things have come in the 3rd and 4th chapters. What is the difference? So there is some confusion in Arjuna's mind. So that question in shloka number 1 in chapter 5. Arjuna uvacha Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha shamsasi yachreya etayorekam tanme bruhi sunischitam. Arjuna uvacha Sannyasam karmanam Krishna punaryogam cha shamsasi yachreya etayorekam tanme bruhi sunischitam. O Krishna, Arjuna asks, shamsasi means you praise. Prashamsa means praise. You praise sannyasam, karmanam sannyasam, giving up action. Action has to be given up, you say. Punaha yogam cha shamsasi. Doing all yoga means performing all action. So you say both. Is Arjuna's confusion, which most people, many people also have. Etayoho yat shreya, which is better between these two. Performing karma or not performing karma, giving up karma. Ekam, one thing. Sunashchitam me bruhi. Make it clear. Certainly say either this or that. Don't say both. Then it's confusing. So, when some instruction is given, different people understand it in different ways. Somewhere in some Upanishad commentary, Shankara says, when the teacher gives an instruction, for many students are there listening to the same instruction, they all get different impression, understand it differently. One person, some people understand the teacher's instruction exactly as the teacher meant it to be understood. Very clear, no doubt. What the teacher says, clearly student understand. That is one category of people. Second category of students are those who understand in a different way. He says A, I understand it as B. Different understanding. Third category of students are those who understand the exactly opposite. If teacher says A, I understand is a complement of A, opposite of A. Viruddha. That is another kind of student. Fourth kind of student doesn't understand anything. Nothing enters the person's mind. So we all fall into one of these categories. It's hard for us to understand once if it is something is said, especially in a profound topic like this one. We need clarification. So when doubt comes, you have to ask. This Pariprashna that came in the 34th sloka of chapter 4. Pariprashnena sevaya tadviddi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Pariprashna means asking for clarification, to understand the instruction completely from every perspective. So that is what Arjuna is doing. He is asking questions. So this doubt has come. Sometimes you say karma yoga has to be done. Sometimes you say karma sannyasa has to be done. Which is better? Please tell me clearly one thing. That is Arjuna's question. And second sloka onwards, Sri Krishna explains, gives the answer very clearly. Actually, there is no difference. Karma sannyasa, they both lead to the same goal. Total karma sannyasa is not possible. We'll study all those things next time when the opportunity comes next week. And until then, all of you stay well. And by the grace of God, we will come back again to this Gita study next Wednesday. Until then, you stay well. And now let me say the closing prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may all be happy. May all be free from diseases. May all realize what is noble and auspicious. May no one be subject to misery. Om peace. May there be peace and joy in our hearts. May there be peace and harmony amongst all beings. And may there be peace everywhere in nature. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Thank you all and stay well. Namaskar.